Have you ever wondered about those who dream of a better life versus those who create it? Are you waiting to accomplish your dreams and goals? Welcome to Create It Now, with your hosts, Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth. For the next 60 minutes, we're going to put your dreams into motion and create it now. The phone lines are open at 731-1230. That's 731-1230. Or toll free 1-866-820-5528. That's 1-866-820-KLAV. Now, let's bring on the host and create it now. Here is Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth.
Hello, and welcome to the Create It Now radio show with your host, Jonathan Stone, and myself, Dawn Elizabeth. And Jonathan, how are you doing today?
Doing okay, thank you. I'm still a little congested.
Still a little sick, huh?
Still a little sick, but we're here. Had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Excellent.
A lot of friends, family.
Very nice. Good time to reflect and
yes.
really think about the year that has passed, which is amazing. Whoa, a turkey just ran through the studio.
I hate when that happens.
Catch him. So a good time to reflect on the past year, think about the new year coming up.
Yes. And all the good things that are happening, like
Absolutely.
congestion. But it's going to be so cold out here coming up now.
I know, it's going to be really cold.
And we're going to be in 80-degree weather.
Oh, darn.
Yes.
Sorry.
We're leaving tomorrow for Orlando.
Yes, very. I like the idea of warm weather.
Yes.
I just follow warm weather wherever it is. That's kind of the plan.
Yeah, I can't believe how cold it's going to be out here.
Yes.
They said about 20s or 30s.
Yeah, it's getting started right now. If you walk outside, it's kind of windy. I had to put my jacket on. It's a little cold.
It's a little chilly.
Yes. And even though there's cold weather, it's a good time of year to just really spend time with family, be grateful for what you have.
Right. And the mountains will be beautiful, too.
Oh, yeah.
And it snows out here. The mountaintops are amazing.
Definitely. Yeah, I was just actually talking with someone today, and she was saying that she can't wait for it to snow more in the mountains because she wants to go practice driving in the snow.
Nice.
Which I think is kind of interesting. You know, you don't really get it down here on the floor, but she wants to
practice driving in the
better
snow.
at it. Yes.
Nice.
Hey, always a positive.
Exactly.
A lot of people see it as a negative. She has a positive to
I was
it.
at Tivoli Village today,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really windy, but I guess they have a snow machine.
Oh, really?
So as I was sitting there, all the snow started shooting down the streets and stuff. Yeah, it was interesting.
So it was kind of snowing in Vegas.
It was snowing in Vegas. First time I've seen that.
I'll have to go check that out. Do they have a big tree set up or anything like that?
I think they're doing it this week.
Oh, okay.
But I think they were probably just testing out the big snow thing while I was sitting there having tea.
Very nice. They do that also at Town Square.
Nice.
They have a snow with kind of
Maker?
tree. No, they have a big tree and they kind of do it as like a special event, but it snows bubbles.
No, this was actual snow.
Yeah, no, they do bubbles.
Snowing bubbles, like tiny bubbles.
Yeah, it's kind of
Nice.
interesting to see because then they all kind of gather on the ground and the kids run through them, and very interesting
Sounds like you
idea.
can slip.
I think you do,
or
actually.
I could.
Yeah, because it's on their grassy area, so
Right.
it does get
I
very
would be
slippery.
on my butt. That would be it.
Probably.
Yeah. I
I
can't
think
do
that's the
that.
point, so you can be in the bubbles. You can play.
We need that here. I mean, we just had a turkey. Why can't we have snow here in the studio?
Nope, didn't happen.
Yeah.
We tried.
Yes. Lawrence can usually figure out most things.
I don't know. Maybe figuring out what snow sounds like is going to be
There
a tough
you go.
situation.
There you go. So what are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about just some different concepts that we tend to forget. Some different truths that are out there that we kind of have to keep reminding ourselves about. And so we're going to be talking about that and really delve into these different ideas and concepts and talk through them. And
it's basic stuff that we just forget.
right, exactly. They're always there, and when you hear it, you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. So we're just going to kind of talk about what they are and how to help ourselves remember and keep those in the front of our mind.
Good.
Yes.
Let's
and
get started.
Yep. So let's start with the first one. How about happiness and success are two different things?
This is true.
That was a huge thing for me a while back.
Right.
Trying to separate the two.
Separate the two.
Yes.
Well, I think a lot of people feel that success will make them happy. There's a lot more to it. They feel the more success, the more money.
The
money
happier
doesn't
you'll
make
be.
You that
Yes.
happy. I mean, there's a lot of people that are ill.
Mm-hmm.
They can have all the money in the world.
Yeah.
And happiness is just like on Thanksgiving when we were with family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what happiness is. That's how you measure your success. Who your friends are, I think, as well.
Right.
Who you have surrounded around you.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you can be happy. You need to be happy first.
Right.
Before you can find that success.
And I know
because you'll never be happy with your success if you aren't happy in itself.
And how many miserable people do you know that are very successful?
Yeah. Because they thought the success would make them happy, but they were miserable to begin with. So,
and
yes.
nobody wants to be around them.
They will continue to be miserable. Exactly.
That's a good one.
When I do improv, there's an improv troupe where a type of improv that they do, they pull somebody up on stage and they ask a lot of questions. And one of the questions has to do with if you were stranded. No, if you could only pick one, would you pick education, happiness, or money?
Right.
And a lot of people try to differentiate. Well, they try to kind of say, well, if I had money, then I would have happiness. If I had happiness, I can get the money. And they're like, no, you only get one. Like, it's hard to separate that concept.
Because I think it's so ingrained in your mind that, well, if you have money, you'll be happy. That's what people believe. But it's like Weiland. I mean, his thing is, you know what? You can be happy and make money as well.
Right. Well, and if you think about it, when you see people who are successful, you just automatically, a lot of people assume that happiness comes with that. Like, look at all these amazing things they have. But it's that grass is greener on the other side, like, wow, they have this, they have a jet, they have this, or whatever it is. And like that, they have to be happy.
And a whole bunch of yes people around them.
Right.
They don't have true friends who will really tell them, this is the truth. I mean, look at Michael Jackson. He was so successful, but nobody ever stopped him and said, hey, you know what, you got to take care of yourself.
Yeah. See, so, I mean, there's always two sides to a coin. And it's just trying to figure out what makes you happy.
The balance.
And, and what in your mind is the meaning of success, which is different for everybody.
Absolutely.
Really, if you think about it, some people's success has to do with business, some has to do with family, community, giving back, whatever it is. Everyone's success is different, and that's going to change your happiness as well.
No, like us going to Orlando, that's making me very happy. We're going to be around amazing friends. We're going to see Sherry Watson, who was on the show, and they're just good people, and this is going to be a very successful trip. But it'll also be really happy and seeing old friends haven't seen in a long time. Yeah.
But being able to separate those two, right?
Right.
Yeah. So to me, that's one of the biggest ones that we're going to be talking about today, to be able to really separate those two feelings. And you got to kind of always remind yourself of that, because like when we hit those failures, we become unhappy. Oh, we didn't become, it wasn't a success or this. And so to really separate that out is going to be a huge
And failing,
piece.
You can be successful at failing.
Right.
I mean,
failing's a good thing.
Good. Fail forward fast. I mean,
absolutely.
Fail and get through it.
Right.
Don't sit there and dwell on it because then there goes your happiness.
It's
like an obstacle.
Right. And I just had read a quote today that says, the worst failure isn't failing, it's not doing something afterwards.
Right.
So that's actually the failure, is if you
getting knocked
let
down.
It stop you.
Yeah, get back up.
Right. So I think that's a big part of it as well. So.
And one of the things, if you get knocked down on your butt, you should looking up.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Very nice. So we have some more truths that we're going to talk about, these concepts and ideas, and we're going to do that when we get back from our break. So you're listening to the Create It Now radio show, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook or Twitter at Dream It Create It. And check out the website, www.createitnowmedia.com, and get a free business shout out from us here at the Create It Now radio show. And we'll be right back.
It's an idea whose time has come. Full Circle Couture is the fashionable way to exchange and recycle clothing. Full Circle Couture sells all kinds of new and gently used clothing and accessories. They accept donations and exchanges for in-store credit. And Full Circle Couture donates the items they can't use to local charities. Full Circle Couture at 9440 West Sahara, Suite 170, just west of Fort Apache. Find out more at fccfullcirclecouture.com. That's FCC Full Circle Couture, COUTURE.com.
Hi, everyone. This is New Media Vegas, your Sin City webmasters in Las Vegas, Nevada.
More than just web design, complete integrated marketing with inspired innovations in delivery of your new media message, putting the groove and the backbeat back in your brand.
The hottest in design trends with the latest innovations in marketing techniques. Call New Media Vegas at 702-517-0184.
Or visit us online at www.newmediavegas.com. Don't forget to check out our online magazine, Sin City Presents, featuring business, technology, fashion, dining, and entertainment news.
702-517-0184. 702-517-0184.
This is Les Brown, Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy. Those of you that are listening, I encourage you to listen to Create It Now, because it will teach you how to live full and die empty, how to begin to manifest your greatness and make your mark.
Create It Now. Continues. Join the conversation at 702-731-1230 or email create@createitnowmedia.com. Here again, your hosts, Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth.
Hello and welcome back to the Create It Now radio show. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about different concepts and truths that we tend to forget sometimes. And we were talking about happiness and success and how they're two different things. And we kind of started to get into information about failure as well. And that's also another one, right, that people have their own concept of what success and failure is. So a failure to me might be a success to somebody else.
Right. And you know, trying to be perfect all the time it is actually a waste of time. What is perfection? Perfection is an illusion. It's what you create. Yeah. You know, what your perfection is compared to somebody else's perfection. And if we always waited till we had something perfect, we'd never start anything.
Right. Oh, yeah. One of my favorite sayings is done is better than perfect.
Right.
At least just get it done. Get it out there. It's okay if it's not perfect. You can always correct it. Even if you think it's perfect, it's going to end up needing to be corrected. Exactly.
But if you really sat there and go, oh, this isn't perfect, we're never going to be able to get this going, you'll never start. Just start it. Yeah. I mean, this is what we're doing while we're going to Orlando. We decided to create something new, which we'll tell everybody about when we get back. And we'll go in there to learn and figure it out. And we know it's not perfect right now, but it will be.
But we're starting it.
Yes.
Yeah, otherwise
taking action.
It'll never happen. Yeah, and when we compare those two words, I guess, success and failure, even if it's a failure for me, it could be that success for you or for somebody else. And it's really just our concept behind what those two words mean. And as I said before, there really are no failures. It's just what you do after that.
And I think a lot of failures have become successes. Probably that's how they came up with popcorn, like a popcorn field.
There's actually a lot of stories like that. Potato chips was like that.
Yeah.
That was a failure, and same thing with the microwave, same thing with lots of different things, Scotchgard and all these other things. They were all failed. Failures. Yeah, exactly. Failed attempts at something else that created a success.
Right.
With now what are big, and same thing with Post-its, I believe.
Yes.
So there's so many of those stories, and if people didn't go for done and they went for perfect, they never would have found those. So that's a huge piece of it.
And just start it.
Yeah.
You know, work its way out as you go. And that's the only way you're going to learn is by taking action and doing it.
Right. And that also goes into that every mistake that you make, it is a progress.
Right.
It's good to make mistakes. You can kind of gauge where you're at when mistakes happen.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, that's what we talked about last week about obstacles. Every obstacle you conquer, you're closer to your goal.
Yeah, it helps you see that. I mean, it's good to have those successes too and celebrate the successes, knowing that if there's a mistake that happens or an obstacle that hits, you can really see where you're at.
Right, and don't let it hold you back.
Right.
I mean, a lot of people put so much emphasis and energy into that mistake They sit back and instead of just like pushing forward, power through it.
Right. Well, and two, a lot of times when you hit a mistake, that could lead you in a direction you didn't expect.
Right.
And that could be a good thing.
And it can save you for down the road as well.
Right.
I'd rather get all my mistakes out up front. So, I'm already prepared. I know. A lot of people are like, oh, no, I don't want to work. No, let me make my mistake now.
Right.
And own up to it and move on.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't like to make mistakes. I have this issue about making mistakes and looking bad and, for other people to see. But I also know that I can learn from those. Right. It's okay if they happen. Not that I want them to, but if they do, I have to talk myself through it. I have to remind myself that it's progress. Right. It's okay.
So you go into your own head about it.
Absolutely.
Interesting. See, I've never made a mistake, so I really don't know that feeling.
Yeah, whatever.
And, no, you have to own up to it.
Yeah.
And you have to apologize.
Right. It's the only way to move forward. Yeah. It's huge. If you do make a mistake, just get through it faster.
And you know what? People are very accepting.
Oh, yeah.
Of mistakes. A lot of people just, oh my God, what's everybody going to think? I mean, like you were saying, you get into your head about it. But if you just admit you made a mistake, people want to teach you and want to help you.
Right.
Definitely. That's the only way to learn.
And a lot of times, too, when mistakes happen, those opportunities can come out. And especially when a mistake happens and the opportunity is found, it's hard to accept that opportunity.
Right.
It's hard to know that that's a place to go. And that's another one to really think about is we're never going to feel 100% when that opportunity arises. A lot of times we have that self-talk. Yeah, exactly. And so you still want to take action on those opportunities, even if you don't feel that 100% with it.
I don't think anybody ever feels 100%.
Yeah,
ready.
Absolutely. I mean, now if you feel 100% or 90% negative about it, okay, maybe don't do it.
Gut, right.
Yeah, follow your gut intuition. You just got to be aware that you're not going to be 100%.
Yeah, I don't think
never
anybody.
know.
Yeah, I don't think anybody feels 100%.
Yeah, you can't. You can't. If you did, then you could tell the future.
Right. Exactly.
Right. That's the only way you know.
Well, you wouldn't be human.
Yeah. So it's okay if you're not 100% with it, but go for it. Try it.
Exactly.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, you don't have to wait. That's the same thing about being perfect. You don't have to wait for it to be perfect to go ahead and to move forward.
Yeah. And I like how a lot of times those different sayings come up about like opportunity only knocks once. And I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think there's opportunity everywhere. It's just who takes advantage of it.
Right. I love opportunity. Just kick the door down. That's my thing. When it's knocking, I'll kick that door down.
Just go for it. Yeah.
It's the only way.
Right. And I think it was Richard Branson who had said that there's plenty of opportunities out there. It's just you only notice the ones that people take action on.
Right. But you also have to create your own opportunity. I think that's really important. Like this Orlando trip, going back to that, because meeting Sherry and everything she's been through and the opportunity for her to help us out and to go meet with her and to accomplish something quite amazing. We took it. I mean, you actually jumped on it a lot quicker. You booked the flights. We're going.
Right.
There's an opportunity.
Well, it needed to happen.
Right.
That's how it works.
That's it.
It needs to happen. So, yeah, being jumping on the opportunity, whether you feel if you don't feel it's right, if you follow that gut intuition, like this is not the right path for me or the right decision to make, then don't do it. But if you have that kind of excitement feeling to it, try it out.
Exactly. And don't listen to other people.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, so many people run ideas by other people.
They want to be negative.
Yeah, and they're looking for either permission or to be discouraged about doing it.
Right.
Just tell somebody you're doing it. Don't ask what you think. Because when you ask, you're going to get an answer. And it's probably not the answer that you want.
Right. And, yeah, trying to find that permission was kind of when I was talking about when I had cut my hair. Right. Everyone was so negative about it. I was just looking for that acceptance of someone saying, yes, do it. But I knew like that was an opportunity for me to try. Right. Try it out. If it doesn't work, it'll grow back.
Exactly.
I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? So got to go for it.
But it makes you look so young.
I know, right? Yeah. See, I'm accepting it.
There you go.
Yes. if you're not sure what we're talking about,
Yeah.
you have to check out the archive version of our show from last week, where apparently we picked apart me and all my issues.
No.
We're going to have to do that with Jonathan soon.
Well, I don't make mistakes or have issues. I had so many issues I had to cancel my subscription.
Terrible.
I know.
I don't even know if that was well deserved, but good job, Lawrence.
Thank you, Lawrence.
So let's talk about another one that another truth that we tend to forget. And that is when we are making different decisions, that emotional decisions are rarely a good choice.
Right.
You need to be able to take the emotion out of it so that you can make an educated decision.
Right. But I mean, in this industry, everything, in the motivational industry, everything is, they play to your emotions. They sell fear. I mean, fear is what makes people buy, so that you do have to step back and take a look before you make even large purchases or jump into a new opportunity, get all the facts. Because people are trying to sell things all the time, and, they play on your emotions.
Well, but you have to, when you do make that decision, you have to be able to step back from that. Right. A lot of times in different situations, even like with buying a car, think about going in without your wallet with you,
right?
So that you don't make an emotionally charged decision. Just go in to get the facts, the information. I think that's what's good about internet nowadays, is that you can do research without that pressure and really see if it's a good idea.
Well, I mean, think about when you buy a car, they make you sit in it, smell the new car smell, take it for a test drive.
A lot of people will buy on emotion, and then that's when they have the buyer's remorse, whatever it's for. Products, services, anything. So you do need to be very careful about that. And yes, that's how sales works.
Yeah, right.
However, on the consumer side, you have to be really careful so you're not regretting your decisions. A lot of times, I will tell people up front, I'll say, I will not make a decision now. If I go home and I'm still interested in this, I will let you know. Right. You will get the commission. If you continue to pressure me, it definitely won't happen.
Right.
And I'll walk out.
Yeah, but a lot of times what people do is, like you said, the buyer's remorse, but then they start blaming everybody else and they say it's a negative. It's like when you go buy materials and you never use them.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, it was that person who sold me the materials. This thing doesn't work because they didn't put the energy in. Because at that time, they were so excited about buying it and changing their life and creating this whole new difference that they didn't do it. And now, all of a sudden, they're bad-mouthing other people and gossiping.
Yeah. And it's displaced negativity and a bad word that's put out there. So we do have to be careful for ourselves that we take that emotion out of it. Let it step out, be a third party, almost kind of look at it from the outside looking in. Kind of when we talked about different pieces of business, like trying to be that, having somebody look into the situation. Try and do that for yourself to see if it's really something, and
sleep on it.
Yeah.
For a big purchase or a big idea, a big business.
Yeah. Same thing with opportunities.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't always have to make that decision right then and there for that opportunity to still be there. You can think about it and take advantage of the opportunity. So it's a lot of times people think those opportunities are like a snap of a finger.
Right.
If it's I don't decide now.
Still be there.
Exactly. If I don't decide right now, oh my gosh, this opportunity is going to go away in 30 seconds. Kind of like what QVC or those infomercials. You have 10 more minutes to get this deal. I've called those things 3 days later. The same deal is on
Mom,
the
I hope
phone.
you're listening there.
Same deal is still there.
Yeah.
I find that it cracks me up.
Or that infomercials over and over again. Yeah. We'll take off one payment if you order right now. And then 20 minutes later, it's on another channel.
Right. Well, actually, if you think, I just kind of remember this back in real estate. When I first got into real estate, I needed to know a lot about it before I could get into it because it's bigger money. And so I had gone to a couple different things and listened and listened to people speak about it. And they still would pressure for different things. And I walked away 3 times. And then finally the 4th time I was like, okay, I'm ready to do this. The opportunity was still there. The information was there. The real estate was still there. It just took me more time to take advantage of that opportunity. And I wasn't emotionally charged with it because for that I was super excited. I really wanted to do it. At the same time, for me, I needed more education on it before I was going to throw money into it, because you could lose a lot of money in that respect.
Well, a lot of people do that, I think, especially with real estate. They jump in really quickly, and then the market goes. I mean, so you did a lot of research and worked out for you.
Right. So that was, for me, was the best way to do it. But it took me 3 times, and then fourth time I didn't need to hear anything else. I was just ready to go with it and find people to do business with. But it took me longer, and I was okay with that. I mean, at first I felt a little dumb that it took me longer than other people because they got to jump on it, right? But in the long run, it didn't matter. And
the deals were still out there.
Exactly.
You didn't miss
out on the deals.
Right.
There's always another one. So it was kind of that same piece of it. Even though when I jumped in, I still wasn't 100% on the opportunity. I still had questions. I still needed to learn. I was never going to get that information without jumping in and starting.
Right. But you had to take action eventually.
Yes, exactly. I had to take that action in order to figure the rest of it out.
But I'm sure all those times you talked yourself into it, talked yourself out of it.
Right.
Until you finally committed to do it. And
absolutely.
taking action. And the results worked out.
Right. Absolutely. So we've talked about quite a few already, quite a few different concepts and truths that are out there that we kind of have to remind ourselves about. We talked about happiness versus success being two different things, not necessarily intertwining them. Also, the different thought process behind the word success and failure.
Right.
It's what I say is a success could be different for you, different for somebody else. And no matter what mistakes you make along the way, always making progress.
Yes. Just keep moving, keep going forward.
Keep moving forward. It's okay if there's a mistake. It's okay if there's a failure, you fall down. At least it's progress.
Right. Just standing still, being parked, making any progress.
Right. Yeah.
It's that whole fear thing.
Right. And one of the quotes is, if you're... I'm going to have to look it up because it has to do with if you're standing still, you're going to be hit by your competition. But if you're parked, you're going to be blown over by them.
And what I always say, if you're not training, somebody's training to beat you.
Exactly. So it's a huge piece. You got at least you're making progress and moving forward. And when you're making those different decisions, emotional decisions rarely work out. We need to make it about the information as opposed to our emotions that are running wild. And you may never be 100% sure about the opportunity, but you still need to take action.
Yeah. And we're so lucky now we're in an information world with so much technology. You can research anything and find out.
Absolutely. So using that information, just kind of reminding ourselves as we go through life, as we are becoming happy, finding success, hitting failures, whatever it is, just kind of reminding ourselves of these different pieces. Absolutely. And we're going to let our sponsors speak. You're listening to the Create It Now radio show. Don't forget to find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at Dream It, Create It. And check out the website at www.createitnowmedia.com. And we'll be right back.
Blowing it out at Gene Woods Racing Experience, Las Vegas's newest premier outdoor adrenaline-powered gasoline go-karting track with speeds in excess of 45 miles per hour if you've got the balls. We've got 2-for-1 Tuesdays, buy one and your friend rides free. We've got $5 off coupons, and remember, on your birthday, members ride free. And they get a free Gene Woods Racing Experience t-shirt, open Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. till 11. Saturday and Sunday, noon till 11. And we're located at 121 East Sunset Road in Las Vegas Boulevard at the Sports Center across from McCarran Airport. Come blow the doors off your competition at Gene Woods Racing Experience. Once you race here, you won't go anywhere else. Be there. Be there.
From the entertainment capital of the world, listen to On Stage in Vegas on the fourth Thursday of each month at 9 p.m. right here on KLAV. You'll hear interviews, stories, and valuable life and business lessons from performers, producers, and directors who have created success on stage in Vegas and around the world. Join me, Big Magic Al Jensen, and Michelle Roxy Davis as we bring you stories from the stage that are guaranteed to inspire, motivate, and entertain. If you can't make it live, log on to VegasAllNetRadio.com to find show archives and bonus interviews. Either way, we look forward to seeing you on stage in Vegas.
You're listening to the Create It Now Radio Network. This is Larry Benet, the Connector. Invest in your network, and the network will invest back into helping you. The more connection currency you create, the faster you get whatever you want in business and life. You're listening to the Create It Now Radio Network.
Those who can do. This is Create It Now. Join the conversation at 702-731-1230 or email create@createitnowmedia.com. Here again, your hosts, Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth.
Hello and welcome back to the Create It Now radio show. If you're just tuning in with us, we're talking about different truths and concepts that we tend to forget whenever we're getting into business or goal setting and taking action, just different ideas that we kind of need to keep in mind. And we were talking before the break a little bit about different making decisions and going with opportunities. And the one thing when we're making different decisions is the more options we have, the harder it is to make that decision. Right. So we want to make sure that, especially when we're giving other people choices, that we don't give too many options.
We keep it simple.
Yeah.
I know. It's like somebody will create one product line, and then they'll try to spawn off 20 other things. Make that one a success first.
Right.
Put your energy into it.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about that too. What is your passion?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you have too many choices, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, and I want to do this. You know, you're not going to be perfect at any of them.
Right.
So you got to break it down into importance. Because if you give yourself so many choices, nothing gets done.
Right. Yeah. So you got to make sure that you're really just focusing in. And a lot of times when I'm working with different clients and things, there's a lot of things they want to do, and they can't choose because they have like 50 things they want to choose from. So I'll pick 1 or 2 or 3 and give them a choice. And then we work on those smaller pieces because that's the only way you're going to create something more.
Right. Well, we live in an ADD world as well. So there's so many distractions and things constantly all the time. So one of the things is really focus on what you want to do. Take one thing at a time, accomplish that task, and then go on to something else.
Oh, yeah. And so when you have lots of things, just too many to choose from, you're not going to be able to make that decision. Our brain goes in multiple different directions and gets nowhere. So you need to focus down in so that you can make those decisions.
Well, it's like what we talked about when you go to a restaurant and there's so many choices on the menu. You're always so scared that something is better than what you want to order.
Right.
So
if you go to In-N-Out Burger,
exactly,
you only have 3 choices, so it's easy to make that decision.
Right. They have it down to a science.
Yeah. They know.
They do. I mean, but that's the thing, the menus and stuff, and people take them forever because, I don't know, is this going to be better? And same thing with clothes when you go to look at clothes.
Right.
You know,
how's
this going to look? How's this going to look? You know, know what you want before you get there. At least try to.
Yeah, at least have an idea behind it. So that way it's easier to make that decision. Absolutely. And, you know, too, you can learn a lot about everything and know so much about any aspect, any topic, any business opportunity, but you're never going to get anything accomplished if you don't take action.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Well, think about it this way. Say you're going to have surgery. Now, there's a doctor that graduated from the head of his class or a doctor that middle of his class but has done 50,000 operations. Who do you want to operate on you? You know?
Exactly. Well, if you think about it, like a lot of times when after people get out of college, say they go for a certain degree, then they get in the real world and all the stuff that they learned in their degree is kind of thrown out the window because it's not the real world's concepts. It's book concepts instead. And so that kind of hinders people. You can study about it all you want, but until you do it, you don't really know.
Well, it's like even fixing a car. I mean, you can read about how to fix a car, but until you actually go in there and take it apart,
you're like, what the?
Where did this piece come from?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm the worst. Like, I'll buy something and I have to assemble it, and I always have extra pieces left over because I never looked at it. I never look at the instruction manual.
Okay, like, so we do need a little bit of education.
Exactly. But I do. I always have, like, I'm like, oh, that was so nice, and then they gave me 4 extra pieces.
Yeah. Well, how
and
sweet.
extra bolts and stuff like that.
Yeah, good. Great. Remind me not to take anything from you that you've assembled.
It usually works. I mean, that's why God created duct tape.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, you just got to make sure you are taking that action. There's what they call seminar Sams, people who go to seminars and learn about things over and over and over, and they're always going to another seminar. And when you ask them what they've done nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
Because they're always analyzing. Action. They're always trying to figure out more and learn more. And if you don't take action, it's not going to.
Yeah, you got to try it. You just do it. Get out there and do it. Right. Make it happen.
Absolutely.
And that's the only way you're going to learn.
Yeah. And also, another concept that we tend to forget is that we're all running our own business. Right. No matter where you are in life, you're running your own business. And that's something to keep in mind. Kind of goes along with we're always selling.
Right.
I just had the conversation this morning, and the person I was talking with, she was like, I hate selling. And I just said, we're always selling. Doesn't matter what you're doing, you're always selling. And it's true. You might be selling yourself. Even when you meet somebody, you're selling that connection.
Right.
It doesn't matter how simple it is. You're always selling something. And so you are a business. You are your business.
Right. And you should think of it this way, too. If you run yourself as a business, like, would you put junk food into your business? Would you smoke cigarettes in your business? Do you know what I mean?
Right, absolutely.
So you can look at those habits that you've created for yourself, and you want to allow that to happen into your business. So if you look at it like, I make money, this is what I do, I'm a provider.
Right.
And treat yourself that way as a business, like, I'm going to get up from this time to this time. Manage your day like you're running a business.
Absolutely. So that's a huge part of it as well, is just that's kind of an overall general, it kind of brings everything together, thinking of it that way.
Right.
Like, would you do this if it were a business?
Right.
I like that kind of concept behind it. So good job.
Thank you. So but like when you wake up in the morning, you should be like, this is what I need to do. This is how to be productive. As you said, be productive, not busy.
Yes. Oh, I could talk about that forever again. That kills me. But it's like in a business. Like if you have a business where everything's just staying busy, is your business actually
being
progressing?
Productive.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it going somewhere, or is it in the middle of the road just getting hit by a bus?
Exactly. And so many people are like, I'm so busy all the time. I'm so busy. And like,
doing what?
What have you accomplished?
Right.
Nothing. I got to return these calls. I got to do this. I got to do this. Okay.
Yeah. The question I like to ask is, what's the one thing I can do today that will get me closer to the goal? And even if it's a huge thing that I have to do, I'll still work on that piece.
Right. Chip away at it at least.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be something that takes you longer, but at least do pieces for it and have smaller goals in between.
Right.
Yeah, running everything, not just your business like a business, but running you like a business. Sometimes even, too, I know people who kind of like run their family like a business. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not in a bad way, in a good way, to make
they
sure.
They allocate time and food and budgets and shopping.
Definitely. And time together with each other, and it just kind of runs smoothly. So it's a big piece about any part in your life to run it like a business.
Right.
And then one other one that I really wanted to talk about was this was another conversation I had this morning, and it has to do with a lot of times whenever we're having a problem or somebody else is having a problem, we have to remember it's not about us, like taking things personally. To know that, so say, for example, Jonathan, you were having a problem today. It's not necessarily me or Lawrence or here at the station. It's something else that's happening.
That's underlined.
In your life. So to be aware of that, so that one, we don't take it personally, and two, you can get through it and get past it.
Right. Well, it's like two people walking down the street and one person bumps into it because they're thinking about something else. But for that whole rest of the time, that other person is sitting there going, I can't believe that person bumped into me. And they had nothing to do with it. Or if somebody ignored you because they didn't see you, like they didn't wave at you, but it wasn't intentional. They were preoccupied with something else.
Yeah.
And then the whole day you're bothered. Why did this person say that? That's why texts and emails suck.
Right.
Sometimes.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And if you think about it, try to put that on the flip side. Think about it in yourself. So when you have a problem with another person or an opportunity that comes up, then you have a problem with it. What is it really that you have a problem with? Is it that person, or is it that opportunity, or is it something else that is going on with
inside,
you? Yeah. Like maybe something that's happened in the past or something currently that's going on, whatever it is. A self-talk that you have going on, whatever it is, think about that. A lot of people don't really take the time to think about that. It's just like, oh, I hate that person, or oh, I missed that opportunity.
Well, actually,
think about it.
Yeah, I had a conversation with somebody the other day. Actually, I brought it up today at a lunch meeting. But when people gossip to me about other people, then I sit there and I ask them, did that person actually do something to you, or did you hear it from somebody else?
Right.
Because until that person does something to me, and they can be spot on about this, but I can't, have an opinion about that person.
Right.
I mean, if somebody did something to you, then please tell me, or warn me or whatever. But if they didn't and you just heard it through other people, it means absolutely nothing.
Right. Because it's kind of like that telephone game.
Right.
It can change over and over. And so you got to be careful about that. But a lot of times we don't really want to think about that in ourselves. We don't want to take the time to think about why it angers us.
Right.
And we just blame that other person or blame what's happening in our surroundings instead of really looking inside and trying to figure it out for
Or living in
ourselves.
the past. This is going to happen because it always happens.
Because it always happened before.
You know what they say? If you drive, while you're driving, if you're looking in the rearview mirror the whole time, you're going to crash.
Yeah.
So look forward.
Exactly.
Move forward, get over it, figure it out. Talk to somebody about it.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge piece. Once you can look inside and start to realize that in yourself as well in other people, I think there's easier to communicate and also fall into to be happy.
Right.
And the one this morning when I had this conversation, it had to do with growing up.
Right.
She had finally just last year had a kind of like a heart-to-heart with her mother, and after she talked to her mother and her mother talked about things of her past, she thought to herself, oh, so this is why growing up things were like this.
Right.
And she started understanding exactly, and she understood. Now it wasn't about her and being her child, it was about what her mother had gone through.
Right.
And so now she sees the world a little bit differently because of that.
And I think one thing we pass judgment. I mean, I create stories in my head, and I did this one time, and it was actually with my family. I was going to meet them for dinner, and I was going to get my hair cut, and it was taking a long time, so I told my parents, go out to eat. I'm going to be late, and it just kept going and going, and it was getting later and later. And in my head, I'm going to go they're like, no, we're fine. We'll wait for you. We're fine. And I'm just like, oh, no, I'm going to get there. My mom's going to be like, I can't believe you were late. We're starving. That was so selfish. And I'll sit there and go, I told you guys to go eat. The minute I created this whole thing, the ending, my excuses, what her action was going to be, my reaction, had this whole story built in my head. And when I went there, she's like, hi. Oh, your hair looks great. Let's go get dinner. But I had built this whole thing. I mean, I was looking for the fight. I had the answers prepared and everything. I had already passed judgment.
Yeah.
And created this whole story.
Yeah, and that could be a huge block. I mean, you kind of see that in sitcoms a lot, where someone is ready to say something super angry, and then the other person responds with "okay," and they're like, "Wait, how did you?" Huh? Right. And you see them do that whole thought process in their mind. Right. But
so it's getting out of your own head, getting out of your own way.
Absolutely. One story I usually tell when I'm out in my seminars is about an ex that I had, where anytime he would ask me a question, he would already expect my answer to be something negative. So no matter what I said, he responded to what he assumed I said.
Right.
So I could have said the complete opposite, and his response was what he thinks. So after a little while, I actually just stopped responding, and he would have the whole conversation.
Right.
And I just watched.
Right.
Like, wow, this is quite interesting. Well, thank you for joining let me, tell me what I'm going to say.
Whole story. Yeah.
Yeah. And it would always continue. And he never really put it and thought about that it was inside his own head. He just assumed that was me, and it wasn't. And so.
And that's the whole thing. Yeah, I know. And I get that. And it's like the whole thing about looking bad and the two images that people have about themselves, what somebody draws you and what you think you look like.
Right.
I mean, it's all in your head.
Yeah, absolutely. So we really have to step back. It's that kind of being that third party again, stepping back and looking at that situation, looking at how we're reacting and why we're reacting to it.
And go into a situation just thinking happiness, perfect. Be happy. There are so many people that like to fight, and they're really negative people, and you know that. Just you got to go in there feeling good.
And you have to think about it too. Okay, they're not being negative to me. Why are they being negative?
Yeah.
I mean, you may never find out what's making them miserable, but at least you can realize that it's not you.
Right.
That it's something else behind it, so you can at least create that communication between them.
Yeah, and stay away from those people then.
Yeah. I like to stay away from the negative people. Always tell them positive ideas so that the more you flip it into positive, the more they're not going to want to tell you negative stuff.
Right.
Because they're going to be like, oh, they're just going to do something positive. They're just going to turn it around.
Right.
You're right.
And it drives people crazy.
Yeah. And then they stop being negative around you.
Yeah.
Or they just stop being around you.
But people ask me how I'm doing, and no matter what, I'll say, amazing, awesome. I'm having the greatest day. Every minute gets better. And people are like, oh, wow. They expect you to say, oh,
right. They want
I'm
you to say
cold
something
today.
bad.
It's freezing. Oh, it's rainy. Look at the weather.
Misery loves company.
Yes.
And they want you to join in. And if they can't get you to join in, then they'll go find it somewhere else. Yeah, that's a huge concept that I talk about with different companies, because that can infest your company environment so quickly and easily that it starts to go downhill at that point. Exactly. So staying positive.
Stay positive.
Be happy. Success doesn't necessarily equal happiness. Yes, to be aware of that. So excellent. We are going to take our final break for today. You're listening to the Create It Now radio show. Don't forget to find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at Dream It, Create It, or check out the website www.createitnowmedia.com. And we'll be right back.
It's Roxy from the 702 Rock Show, right here at VegasAllNetRadio.com. Listen to my show every Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. to hear about local artists, musicians, fashion designers, and more right here in Las Vegas. So tune in every Friday, 4 to 5 p.m. to hear me, Michelle Roxy Davis, right here at VANR on the 702 Rock Show.
Ben Bella Books is a publishing boutique that aims to be the publisher of choice for a select group of authors. Authors who value personal attention, a partnership philosophy, flexibility, and a creative approach to marketing. Ben Bella Books is a fast-growing, market-focused publishing house whose success is based on a few simple principles. They select their titles with care. They provide their authors with first-class service and partnership. And they provide aggressive, creative marketing for each title they publish. Find out more at benbellabooks.com. benbellabooks.com. And if you're a reader, check out the many great titles available at benbellabooks.com.
Hey, this is Danny Vegas, and let me tell you something. When you're ready to stop dreaming and start doing, you need to tune in to my friends at Create It Now, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 3 o'clock in the afternoon to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Like I said, quit dreaming and start doing.
The best television isn't on television. It's on the internet. Log on to realwisdomtv.com for thousands of hours of motivational and inspiring content. On demand, all the time. Unlike network television with its sex, drugs, and rock and roll, realwisdomtv.com provides wellness, wealth, and wisdom. From how to read faster to creating greater wealth, realwisdomtv.com is for you. The learning never stops, and neither does realwisdomtv.com. Log on now to realwisdomtv.com.
Welcome back to Create It Now. Join the conversation at 702-731-1230 or email create@createitnowmedia.com. Here again, your hosts, Jonathan Stone and Dawn Elizabeth.
Hello and welcome back to the Create It Now radio show. If you're just tuning in with us, we've been talking about different concepts and ideas and truths that we tend to forget, and it's kind of good to keep them in the forefront of our mind and really feel that kind of help get us through different situations. So we talked a lot about how success versus happiness and success versus failures. We also talked about when we're making those decisions, how we feel about those, and if we have too many decisions.
Getting out of our own way.
Getting out of our own way, exactly. And if you want to re-listen to this broadcast, you can listen tonight at 11 p.m. on VegasAllNetRadio.com, or you can find the archived version at www.createitnowmedia. And kind of you can listen to all the different ones that we went through today. And there's this one, I guess I won't call it quote, but there's one thing I want to read really quickly from a Dr. Seuss book, and I feel that it kind of sums up everything from today. And it is, make your journey count. Don't let fear stop you. Don't let conventional wisdom stop you. Lead the life you want to live, and when there's no path, make one.
I love it.
Yes. So Dr. Seuss can teach us a lot.
Yes.
And it just kind of sums everything up, and it's okay. We talked about that whole, the more education, the more you read into it and never making that decision, you're not going to get anywhere.
I'm a big fan of Dr. Seuss. I think I've told you this. I probably said this on the air, but one of the greatest sales books out there is Green Eggs and Ham.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that, but it was the same exact product. And then we were talking about overthinking and keep it simple. But he's like, do you want it on a train? Do you want it on a plane? Do you want it on a bus? In a car? And it's the same product, just different packaging until he finally
gives the right packaging
to have it, and then he loved it.
Right. So we should take a time to really kind of delve into those, because there's a lot of different lessons in those books that Dr. Seuss has that relates to life in business and things to keep with you for the rest of your life.
Right. Brilliant man.
Absolutely. And even if they weren't meant to be life lessons, they've turned out to be, because they're simple.
Right.
But they're profound. Yeah, exactly. So that'd be a great way to kind of delve into it and look at it and read fun books.
Yes.
I love those books.
Oh, yeah.
One fish, two fish. Anyway, is that one about fishing? I don't know. So we'll do that on another show. We'll kind of talk more about the different life lessons that we can learn from Dr. Seuss.
I think that'd be a great episode.
Nice.
Maybe we can get somebody from the Dr. Seuss family or foundation or something as a guest.
Oh, there we go.
Cool.
That'd be fun. All right, we'll have to work on that. We'll want to look into that. That'd be a good one for kind of the Christmas holiday season. Yeah, I like that. Stories and. All right, cool. Let's do it.
Okay.
I like it.
So we're going to take action and create that and make it happen.
We are. And we may come across some obstacles along the way, but we'll get through them.
Yes, we will. We'll do it together.
Cool. Let's do it.
We're finding the Seusses.
Finding the Seusses.
This is going to be our journey. This is our new journey.
Nice.
Yes.
Awesome. Good. So on our next 2 days, we're always on air Wednesday through Thursday from 3 to 4 p.m. And for our next 2 days, we're actually going to have some rebroadcasts happen. Some of our favorite shows that we've had in the past, we're going to rerun for you guys since we'll be out of town. So still join us and listen to those shows. One of them is Jonathan's favorite show, and one of them is my favorite show. So take a listen so you can kind of see where we're at and some different, where we've been in the past, which will be kind of fun. And you can find archived versions or get a free business shout out by going to www.createitnowmedia.com. Don't forget to find us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at DreamItCreateIt.
Right. One thing I want to say, to find your archive footage, though, of shows, click on any of the shows that are there now, and then it'll take you to another page. And on the right-hand side, it says archived shows, because people have been asking how do they find the other shows.
Excellent. So that's how you'll find them. Also, too, you can do www.createitnowmedia.com/categories/archive shows. That will also get you to the list as well.
Very nice.
You're listening to the Create It Now radio show, and we will be back live next week. But don't forget to tune in tomorrow and Thursday for our favorite shows that we've had so far.
Yes.
And you can re-listen to this broadcast tonight at 11 p.m. on VegasAllNetRadio.com. So don't forget to dream big, take action, and create it now.
Keep warm. Have an amazing weekend.